Hey everyone, Xannie here. I hope that you are having an amazing Sunday. So I know we were supposed to have a brunch episode today, but I had to push it to next week because this past week I spent most of my time helping my best friend since middle school get ready for her big wedding celebration. And I didn't really want to sacrifice the quality of the episode or not be there for my friends. So instead, today I'm going to be answering a question that someone left on one of our last videos. So the question is, Xannie, how do you not turn the "it doesn't matter that I'm right" into further anger? I'm at the point where I can see it's not effective to act in my anger, yet I then get more caught up in anger at the fact that my feelings or I don't matter. How do you use that as a quenching point versus a fueling point? So there's two parts to my answer to this question. And the first part is that I think it's really important to separate out "it doesn't matter whether I'm right" from the idea that my feelings don't matter. Because my feelings do matter. And even though they matter, acting on the urges associated with those emotions might not be the most effective for the interaction. So for context, we filmed an episode on rage, and one of the things that I was talking about is that sometimes when I'm in an argument with somebody, I will tell myself that it doesn't matter whether I'm right, because if I can convince myself that my anger is totally justified and I'm right to be angry, then I have in the past used that as an excuse to be unpleasant to somebody. Like, I'm right to be mad, therefore I can yell at them. And there are definitely contexts in life where that's appropriate. You know, anger can be very useful, especially in getting dangerous people away from us. But in most of my close personal relationships, there aren't very many, if any, situations in which yelling at someone or being really unpleasant is going to be helpful in resolving a situation, because loud anger usually invokes a fear response in other people, and then they can get defensive, and it just doesn't really work very well in terms of coming to a resolution with someone. So in some of those moments, I tell myself that it doesn't matter if I am right, not to invalidate my feelings, but to remind myself that going to that sort of righteous anger, I'm going to yell at you place, is just not helpful. So it really isn't about invalidating my emotions at all. I'm not saying that my emotions don't matter. My emotions do matter. And the way that I express them also matters. And so I think for me, reminding myself that being right is the part that doesn't matter, insofar as it relates to how I express my emotions, that's really helpful for me. I think it is important too, though, to consider how things sound to you and what they mean to you when you say them to yourself. So, which brings me to the second point, which is that for me, when I'm saying it doesn't matter if I'm right, that's not coming from my inner critic. That's not the part of me that, has a lot of negative self-talk or is really mean. Over the course of my recovery, I developed almost like a scientific curiosity voice. I take a very innocently curious perspective with myself when I am working on or working through different situations. So that saying of, well, it doesn't matter if I'm right, it doesn't ever have the connotation of, well, it doesn't matter if I'm right, so da 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 da. It's more, and this is why I wanted to make a video so you can hear the tone in my voice, right? It's more like, it really doesn't matter if I'm right. What matters is how I'm communicating with this person. It's much more like positive sounding. So I think the tone and the intent behind what you say to yourself matters. And if you say, like, it doesn't matter if I'm right, and you feel like that activates your inner critic, then maybe that's not the thing that you tell yourself in that moment, right? I do think that you have to say what will actually work for you. But I think taking an innocent, curious tone with yourself can be a really valuable tool in general in discovering what does work for you. Because I definitely did used to use my inner critic as a way to try to motivate myself. I thought if I was just mean enough to myself, then that would make me want to be better because I wouldn't want to have to listen to mean Xannie. But it didn't really work. It just made me feel worse. And so then I heard that voice from myself even more. So yeah, the innocent scientific curiosity perspective has really helped a lot, and almost treating myself, this might sound strange, but almost treating myself like an experiment, in the sense of not doing dangerous things, but like, oh, let's try this and see if it works. And if it doesn't work, it wasn't like this huge failure, because, you know, like if you were performing a real experiment and, you know, in a lab, failure is more common than not. Like most of the time when you're doing an experiment, you fail because you're discovering something new, and that's normal. And I think that's why that perspective works for me, because when things don't work, it's not like, oh, I'm a failure. It's like, oh, well, this is science. This is how this always works. Like, you fail more often than you succeed, and that's just part of the process. Yeah, so I think that really helps. And looking at those kinds of sayings to myself, you know, oh, it doesn't matter if I'm right, in that way, I think has been very helpful for me. So anyway, I hope you got a little nugget of info to take with you on your journey. We will be back on Wednesday with a very special episode, Parenting with BPD, which I'm very excited about. And then the brunch episode that was supposed to go up today will go up next Sunday, so keep an eye out. And if you like videos like this, where we're answering your questions, definitely leave us a comment, direct your question to a specific cast member, whether it's me or someone else, and we will pass along those questions and maybe make some little short videos for you. Make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications so you do not miss a single episode, and we will see you next time.